Help with my daughter. I, 33M, am a single father to a beautiful wonderful daughter, 12F, will be 12 next April. Her mother passed away when delivering here, so for all of her life it has been me and her. I love her to death and we are best friends before father and daughter. We talk about everything. However, around some time ago I noticed some changes in her behavior, mood swings, and acne started to appear on her face. I have read many books about raising girls and I believe these are the signs of when a girl hits puberty. I tried to talk to her about that, however, this is the one subject that she completely shut me down on it. So, I decided to let it go for the moment and speak to her later. Now, I was doing laundry and I noticed her bedsheets tucked away. When I spread them I noticed some droplets of blood, which from what I read is a sign that she got her period. I, once again, tried talking to her. This time I brought a book with me so she know I talk based on scientific knowledge. She listened for a little bit, then I think got embarrassed, told me to drop the subject, and when I told her we need to talk she shouted, "You are not my mom, you understand shit." I don't have any female relatives nor her mother. We were both raised in the foster care system and literally had no one. So I went to her school and talked to one of the school counselors, she's in a Catholic school, to speak to her about the subject. Later I discovered that instead of talking to her about puberty and what to expect and such stuff, they only talked to her about not having sex before marriage, and how sex before marriage is the work of the devil, and masturbation is a great sign that deserves punishment, etc. Now, I don't know what to do at that point. I have some ideas, which I hope some of you here give me advice about. A. I give her one of the books I have about puberty in females for her to read. B. We go to an OBGYN, female one, that she could speak to about everything she can't speak to me about and that I can't possibly understand. C. Going to a child psychiatrist, also a female one, so she can speak to her about all of her feelings and stuff. D. I go to a professional physician, a psychiatrist, or whatever, so I can learn exactly what to say to her and the answers that I can give her. However, I don't see it helpful as I've never experienced what she's going through. What do you think I should do? P.S. The reason why I didn't seek a female friend to talk to her about puberty stuff is that in one of the books I read, it's mentioned that in situations like ours where a female role model doesn't exist, it is best to get information, basic puberty information, from a clinical professional source. Every female has her own experience with puberty and some things happen to some while not happening for others, so unless she has a relative that shares some genetics with her, it is recommended for her to acquire knowledge from a professional. Of course, other stuff like dating and such after that will require a female friend to be around, which I honestly working on right now. However, I'm talking about puberty experience here. And once again, thank you for your kindness and sweet words. You really opened my eyes on many stuff that didn't cross my mind before. PS2. For God's sake, please stop attacking me in the DMs over what I said about her school. That what happened with my daughter. Yes, I am pulling her out of that school. And no, I'm not saying Catholic schools are evil, ignorant, or I'm a God hater as someone told me in the DMs. Simply this particular school in this particular situation does not suit us. Period. Do two things. First, tell your daughter that you won't ask her further regarding puberty topics but that you are always there if she wants to talk about it. Then do everything you mentioned in option B. The Care and Keeping of You is a really good book to give her. Helped me. 31F. Growing up. Option B sounds promising, and I personally would look into changing schools. What a messed up thing for a teacher to tell a 12-year-old. Angry. 1. Get her a female pediatrician if she doesn't already have one. My daughter loved her doc but didn't want to go to him after she reached puberty, even for completely unrelated things. 2. Give her the book and let her read it by herself. 3. Does she have a close friend with a friendly mom? Maybe a friend's mom could help her with this and other things, like learning how to buy feminine hygiene products and brass. 4. If she doesn't already, teach her to do her own laundry so she doesn't have to worry about you knowing when she's had an accident. 5. Keep being the great dad that you are. The Care and Keeping of You is an American girl book that me and all of my friends read at that age. You should also look into the Big Brothers, Big Sisters organization. You will get lots of useful advice here. As the father of 4 daughters, I would just like to add, welcome to the teen years. It can be crazy, but you will get through it with love and patience. Good luck, brother. Later I discovered that instead of talking to her about puberty and what to expect and such stuff, they only talked to her about not having sex before marriage, and how sex before marriage is the work of the devil, and masturbation is a great sign that deserves punishment, etc. That's religion for you. It sucks, and it's dehumanizing for a child. But option B is promising. Also, I'm a God hater, as someone told me in the DMs. Religious people, I swear. Going to be completely honest, if you are at a Catholic school and want to talk about basic things about puberty, a non-school related counselor or doctor would be the way to go. Some things don't need a religious perspective on them, say it as it is. Schools really should not be allowed to decide what they teach in sex ed. It should be done by the government and cover all parts, including non-heterosexual relationships. You sound like a great dad. Good dadding. Option B is most appropriate. God bless. Oh, boy. Nuns, huh? What positive view would they have about periods and sex? They don't do devil's work. Yeah, no. You poor things. They really quadrupled your worries. I would add 2 more possibilities to your list. 1. Do you have any close male co-workers whose wives or older daughters could be willing to have a conversation with your daughter? If not, how about a close female co-workers? 2. Can you reach out to one of her friends' moms? Others have given good advice on how to talk to her about puberty. All I want to add is, buy pads and tampons, so she has choices. Make a nice little box somewhere in the bathroom and tell her about it. Keep restocking the box. She'll be embarrassed as fuck, but she'll appreciate it. I grew up with my dad and he did this for me. It was like a silent deal. We had the box kept being refilled and we didn't speak much about it. I really appreciated it. Thank you for being such a thoughtful parent. I know things are really awkward and embarrassing now, but you will work through it. Your concern for your daughter is a great example. Ignore the judgmental people who might say otherwise. I was a child that did not want to talk to anyone about this subject, but I still wanted to know. And I had a mom I could have talked to. I just didn't want to get her a comprehensive book, avoid all that stuff and just leave it in the house. She'll seek it out. Give her the URL for Scarletine and go ask Alice. She can read and ask questions and get feedback from professionals and other people her age. OBGYN, and give her a book to read on her own as well. I think OBGYN is a good idea as they know more about it. Or you could ask a close female friend. Get her out of Catholic school and into another place, cause that place is just gonna tear her down mentally as the years go on, and those places should not ever exist. Having her pedi, if female, or pedi nurse, if female, talk to her would be good. Someone she already knows. Get a selection of period supplies, tampons, liners, and pads, 2 or 3 boxes of different brands of each. Get her a bunch of books. It's perfectly normal, for general sex and biology, as well as books about periods. Just put them on her bed. Get her flowers and chocolate. Tell her that when she needs more supplies, just text you a photo or screenshot of the stuff she wants, so you get buy the right stuff. Option B sounds very good, but please specify with the doctor that she just needs a talk. Then I agree with other people, buy her some pads, have ice cream in the freezer and chocolate. Give her the book. Awkward teens don't want to talk about this stuff with anyone and figure it out on their own. First of all, you are such a caring father. I would say option B. Sounds like a great route. My 21F experience with puberty relied on a lot internet information. I also attended Catholic school that didn't talk too much about sex ed. I ended up finding a local sex clinic to get more, and expert, information about practicing safe sex and any concerns about my health. Where I'm from, it's difficult to book appointments with a OBGYN when you're under 21. That's the age when you can finally get a pap smear test, so I relied a lot on my local sex clinic. I recommend looking into that option if it's offered in your area. I was lucky that the services were city funded, so the doctors and nurses I've talked to at the clinic were always compassionate and non-judgmental. Get her out of that Catholic school. They want to teach her to feel nothing but shame over her gender. I used a pair of tummy control pants in bed for years to stop the pad from wriggling around at night. These days, I take the combined pill to skip the pointless monthly bleed entirely. I pilfered my dad's razors for years and he didn't mind, would even reserve a few for me. Once I got good at shaving, I realized the only real difference between men's and women's razors was the pink tax. A steady supply of pads, nighttime, light and regular, including pantoliners, is a good idea. She will figure out which type works best for her as she gets used to it. Also, some skincare items and vitamin C supplements should help control the outbreaks and other skin issues. I'd go option B and call up your local public school, whatever school she would attend if she went to public, and request that the family resource officer reach out. The school family resource office assists kids with all kinds of needs. Yes, they provide clothes, food, supplies, but they also offer limited counseling services. They can schedule a meeting for your daughter with a woman trained in having these conversations with girls. The family resource person can also meet with you and suggest hygiene products for her acne, her body, and talk you through some of this as well. I'd probably still do counseling for her. Girl puberty is really hard. And B. My mom died when I was 8, so it was just me and my dad too. I know when I got my first period I didn't react the same as your daughter and actually told my dad because I was scared, but he took me to the doctor to ask any questions I didn't want to ask him and get more info, cause sure he had some but not everything, cause he's a guy. The books and or pamphlets can be helpful too for when she has a question and doesn't feel comfortable asking. Just leave them in her room and if she wants to look at him she can. I know when I first started saying my dad that with the sex education stuff in case I wanted to look but didn't force me to. You are a good dad. Good luck. Probably be Obgyn. Can you sign her up for Big Brother and Big Sisters? Maybe if she had a girly friend she was comfortable with, it might be easier. In addition to everything, I want to recommend the American Girl book called My Body and Me. It's a great resource for girls and it teaches them in an accessible way. I can't stress how great this book is. I'm a school psychologist, by the way, in the Illinois public schools. There's a program called Great Conversations that's offered near where I live, but they are doing them online now and they are fantastic for talking about puberty and early sex ed. Does she have a female pediatrician? If so, she could talk to them versus an Obgyn. Not that there is anything wrong with going to an Obgyn too. Just thinking it may be more efficient than finding a new doctor. You didn't mention having several different hygiene products on hand as you don't know what she will prefer. Please do not involve her school. There is a book called The Care and Keeping of You. It's a very helpful book about the changes she will go through. I agree that seeing an OBGYN would be great, but in case she is shy or uncomfortable asking questions, at least she will have this book to look at on her own. Kudos to you for making an effort for your daughter. Try A&D. And also start making friends with someone that can be a strong female role model that can be there for her when she needs to talk to someone about girl stuff. This is the beginning of girl stuff. Maybe a friend's mom can help out. Someone you trust. You are doing a great job and are doing everything right. Now breathe. Your daughter will adjust to her changing body, and a therapist is a good idea to communicate to her the things that make all parents gross and annoying. Her hormones may turn her into a stroppy little madam, but don't change how you've raised her. And don't rise to her shouty crap. Stay calm if you can. She is still the same girl, so you stay the same dad. These are some scary times, mate. I've raised one girl who is now in her 20s, a boy, and a trans boy. Everyone is different, challenging in their own selves, but I wish I had talked to a therapist for moral support at least. The Obgyn would be the best bet. I think bringing her to a psychiatrist or therapist would give her the impression that something is wrong with her. A doctor is the best in this situation. Unbiased advice from them. Why wouldn't you go for options A, B, and C, and also add a trusted older female friend into the mix? You have little to lose, and you never quite know which one of these will stick and work for her. First off, you are a wonderful parent. I don't have enough words to stress that, and we definitely need more like you. Bravo. Option B sounds perfect. I agree with that one, and also just without pushing the subject too much, just let her know every now and then you are still there when she needs to talk, and make sure she has supplies for that time of the month. Oh, and do not ever read any DMs. If people is not saying it on here is Becca is not allow and obviously is bad news, so just ignore and delete. Terrible school, but it was very predictable. Woman shrugging, light skin tone, but again you sir, great father. Option B would be good. She's still going to be embarrassed, but the doctor can straight up tell her it's literally nothing she hasn't seen before. Basically, she's upset that she's got this gross thing that's going to come up every month for decades. It'll stain clothes, sheets, etc. She's going to be paranoid about leakage. You can't help with that. All you can do is tell her to either let you know what the doctor recommends for her pads so you can get it. Point out you buy toilet paper. Knowing what that gets used for isn't any worse than buying her pads and knowing what they're for. Or take her to the store and stand back so she can buy them herself. Oh, does she have a friend whose mom might be willing to talk to her? That might work okay too. Okay, so don't ever let the Catholic system talk about female shit ever again. That's a way to make her feel shit about her own body. Buy her tons of feminine hygiene stuff. In a basket. A bunch of chocolate or stuff she likes, some reading material, etc. She is embarrassed and that's understandable. Also, please make sure she knows masturbation isn't a damn sin. I have boys and they don't like to tell me details, etc. But I reiterate to them, hey, let me know if you want to go to the doctor, if you have anything you want to discuss. You don't need to tell me what it's for, and I won't go in with you if you don't want me to. Don't suffer with any concerns, just let her know she can always come to you. Also show her how to do a load of washing, so she doesn't have to feel scared about it. There's a really great book called The Care and Keeping of You, that's by American Girl, maker of the dolls, and it's all about puberty but written to the girl as the audience. She might find it more approachable than a completely clinical book. And it does not go into sex or relationships at all. Switching to a public school will give her access to health classes and she can gain some knowledge. I think you could bring her to her woman GP and get some help with general period knowledge and find a therapist she can help navigate all the feelings being this age plus not having a mom. Keep her stocked up on multiple sizes of pads. Keep her bathroom stocked with face products and acne cream. Buy her an electric razor that can be used in shower. My daughter wanted one and it's safe. And remember to let her order bras and underwear as needed. She may also benefit from a period tracker app if she has a phone or iPad. Make sure she has pads in her backpack and reminder to change frequently. Toxic shock syndrome scares me. Honestly, if it were me, I'd pull my daughter out of that school and put her in a school that will teach her real-life skills instead of a bunch of bullshit about how not to go to hell. Then you could find a counselor who can actually help her. If that's not a good option, though, then I would say finding a child psychologist or a counselor. Someone who can listen and help. I would suggest gyno, that way she has someone who can walk her through everything that's happening and how to take care of it. You'll want a female gyno, since she clearly feels embarrassed talking to you, male, father, about these types of things. Don't be hard on yourself. You didn't do anything wrong. She's becoming a teenager, so she's going through the "my dad doesn't know anything" phase, which will pass. I would suggest letting her know you can talk to her about anything, if she ever feels like talking about stuff. Also letting her know she can ask you for things from the store. I probably wouldn't say pads, tampons, just items or groceries, anything you need. Keep up the good work. It's obvious that you're a great father, because you're so concerned with her well-being. Give her her own books. The Care and Keeping of You books. There are a couple in the series. Let her know she can discuss it with you, or if she wants you to find a woman to talk to you will. She'll groan and roll her eyes, but she'll read them. Good luck, Dad. Less than hugs. All of the above. Firstly, kudos for seeking out an appropriate woman to talk to your daughter. However, I think you are missing a great category. Most of her school friends will have mums. Find one that you feel is a bit more in line with your own philosophy. Ideally one whose daughter is a good friend of your own. I think that might be a bit less scary and formal than some of the other suggestions. It also allows more of an ongoing conversation rather than a single visit for the talk. No problem. Good luck, and just to say you are doing a great job. Many would have stuck their head in the sand and hoped school will go through it with them. Option B, first right away. You want to make sure that she's medically good and using products correctly. Then option C. Let her talk to a professional who can listen to stuff she can't talk to you about due to comfort. I'd do option B, but also just get a good book and leave it just laying around. Don't tell her to read it. Just leave it where she will see it.